Torah tells us the incredible story that when Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people, left Egypt, they left Mitzrayim. So the Torah tells us that after crossing the Red Sea, Moshe Rabbeinu vayasa Moshe es Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu told the people it is time to journey forth. Because remember, the entire purpose of leaving Egypt wasn't to collect the spoils by the Red Sea. The entire purpose of Yetzias Mitzrayim, the Exodus, was to bring us to the base of Mount Sinai, to receive the Torah, and to have our identity as a nation concretized and solidified. And the Torah says something amazing. The Torah says, Vayava'u Marasa. We came to a place called Mara. V'lo yachlu lishtos mayim mimara kimarem heim. The Jewish people were unable to drink the waters of Mara, kimarem heim, for they were bitter. Alkin kara shma Mara. Therefore, the name of the place was Mara. Okay, so an interesting story. Klal Yisrael arrives at a place, they can't drink the water is bitter. The Torah tells us that a miracle occurred. The people complained to Moshe. That's not the miracle. That's just the fact. The miracle was that Moshe Rabbeinu took a tree, and in fact, the Gemara chatted in Daf Yomi, the Gemara identifies the tree as actually naturally a bitter-tasting tree. Moshe Rabbeinu put the bitter-tasting tree into the waters, and the waters suddenly again became potable and drinkable. Incredible story. The Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh makes an interesting observation, and he says that the Torah says when they came to Mara, v'lo yachlu lishtos mayim mimara kimarim heim. They couldn't drink the water in Mara, for they were bitter. They is plural. Says the Baal Shem Tov, it should say they weren't able to drink the water, for it was bitter. What do you mean they were bitter? And the Baal Shem Tov says something so simple yet so profound. The water was perfectly fine. The water was perfectly sweet. The bitterness wasn't in the water. The bitterness was in the people. Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people, were upset. They were irate for a variety of different reasons. They were upset with Moshe. They were upset with the Egyptians. They were upset with circumstances. They wanted more spoils. They wanted less spoils. Some wanted to leave Egypt. Some didn't want to leave Egypt. Ultimately, they were dissatisfied with HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, as comes out later on in the desert narrative. The Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh says, "V'lo yachlu lishtos mayim mimar." They were unable to drink the water. The water was so bitter, but it wasn't a problem with the water. Kimarim heim, for they, the Jewish people, were bitter. When you are in a bad place in life, when you have a bitter disposition, even the sweetest and most wonderful delicacies, even the sweetest and restorative waters taste bitter. And this is incredibly important, because what the Torah HaKadosh is teaching us, what the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh is teaching us, is our state of being and our state of mind, our emotional disposition, our spiritual disposition colors everything we see and experience in life. The truth is, we know this. When a person is in a good place in life, when I'm holding in the right place, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and my davening is good, and my learning is good, and my shalom bayis is good, and I feel like I have a good connection with my children, and my career is going well, it's amazing. I'm able to interact with people. I'm much more patient dealing with the different kinks of life. Suddenly I don't feel like the world is out to get me. I give people the benefit of the doubt. I see the beauty in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's world. Yet, when I'm not in a good place in life, when my shalom bayis is not as it should be, and I feel my career has stalled out, and I'm unhappy with myself as a person, I'm just not happy with where I'm holding, so suddenly the world looks dark. The world looks dreary. And people are backstabbers, and people can't be trusted, and everything is so terrible, and the sky is falling, and even the sweetest of waters taste bitter. Sometimes in life you have to take a step back, and I have to do a self-check. Because sometimes we look at people and we feel very jaded. We feel very upset. We feel like no one can be trusted. We have difficulty forging meaningful relationships. We feel like everyone is out to get us. And sometimes I'm dissatisfied with the life that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given me. I don't understand why this is happening, that is happening. And sometimes I just feel like wronged by everything in the world. And I have to take a step back and ask myself, is it that I'm really being wronged? Is it that things are so terrible? Or is it just that I am in a state of personalistic bitterness? And when you are in a state of personalistic bitterness, everything tastes bitter, everything is terrible, and no one could do anything right. The problem wasn't the waters, the problem was the Jewish people. When we encounter problems in life, difficulties and challenges, it's good to be an introspective person who's able to do a self-check. Is the problem with others, or is the problem with me? Is the problem in my life circumstances, or is the problem with me? Is it the waters that are bitter, or is it maybe me who has just a little bit too much internal, personalistic bitterness? And if I'm honest enough, and I identify that it's me, then hopefully again I could find the courage to sweeten the personalistic bitter waters, to begin to look at the glass half full like we've spoken about before, and to be able to recalibrate my personal settings so that I could begin to enjoy and to taste all of the beautiful waters life has to offer. Wishing everyone a wonderful day.